My daughter said, "Mom, I need your money. It's for an emergency with the kids." That's how she started the call. No greeting, no pause, just panic in her voice. Said something had happened to little Noah, that he'd fallen, and they were rushing to the ER. Said the copay was high, said her husband's card wasn't working, said they'd fix it later, but they needed help now. I didn't ask questions. I didn't hesitate. I wired her $4,000 before the call even ended, and then 3 days later I saw the photo. Her and Darren, smiling in Dubai, holding fruity drinks, sand behind them, blue sky overhead, her wearing a designer bikini I'd never seen before. The caption read, "Finally, some much-needed couple time Ta deserved." Hold on a moment before we move forward. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. And if you're loving these stories, don't forget to hit subscribe. Tomorrow's episode is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. My chest tightened. I remember reading the words over and over like they'd change if I blinked enough. My hands started to shake. I opened the comments. People congratulating her, saying how beautiful she looked, asking who took care of the kids while they were gone. And she responded to one. "Grandma's always helpful when we need time off." I sat down at my kitchen table and stared at my phone, the stillness in my house louder than it had ever been. I was helpful. That's what I was. Not a person, not a mother. Just some emergency fund she could tap into when it was time to disappear somewhere nice. That night I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I kept thinking about all the times I put her first. All the late shifts I worked after her father walked out. All the birthdays I pulled together with barely enough money to get a cake from the discount bakery. How I sold my wedding ring to help her get through her second year of college. I did all that, and she lied to my face for a beach picture. The next morning I called her, straight to voicemail. I tried again. Same thing. I left a short message. "Please call me back. I saw the post." An hour later, I was blocked. That part hit harder than anything. She didn't even want to talk. Didn't want to explain, lie, deny. Nothing. Just erased me like I'd overstepped for daring to be aware. For 2 days, I tried to make sense of it. I kept asking myself if maybe I misunderstood. Maybe they had both an emergency and a trip. Maybe the trip was booked already. Maybe. I caught myself. I knew what I was doing. I was trying to protect the version of her I still loved. The version that didn't use her own mother like an ATM. I went quiet. But in that silence, I started writing. Not in a dramatic way. Not in some memoir fashion. I pulled out one of those old composition notebooks I used to keep in my nightstand, and I started listing things, dates, times, amounts, every dollar I had sent her over the last 10 years. Every time she asked for help with the kids, rent, school supplies, or just to hold her over. I found my old bank statements. I marked every transaction. Then I wrote down the moments she forgot me. The birthday skipped. The Christmas morning she said she'd be late and never showed. The time she let Darren call me dramatic in front of the kids because I asked why they hadn't visited in months. The notebook started small, but soon I had to staple pages in. I was building a case, not out of revenge, but out of something deeper. Clarity. I had spent my life loving her with everything I had, and she had spent hers taking what she needed and discarding the rest. I wasn't angry yet. I was just done being confused. The following week, I called Monica Reeves, my lawyer. I hadn't spoken to her in years, not since I updated my will after Harold passed. She picked up after 2 rings. Same calm voice, same sharp mind. "Mrs. Holloway?" she asked. "It's me." I said. I need to update my estate plan. There was a pause, but not hesitation. Just awareness. Do you want to remove names, or add new ones? Remove, I said. And I want it done without notice. Quiet. We set an appointment for Thursday. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't say a word to Nicole, my daughter, because I wanted to see if she'd even try to contact me again. She didn't. Thursday came. I put on my navy slacks, the same ones I wore to my husband's funeral, and a light gray sweater. I signed the old will, tore it. Monica had coffee ready, and the documents laid out on her desk. We sat across from each other, calm, no emotion. Everything had already been decided. At exactly 2:59, the office door opened. Nicole walked in wearing a dark blue suit jacket and sunglasses, even though it was cloudy outside. Darren followed behind her but stayed near the wall. Neither of them said hello. Monica motioned for them to sit. "Thank you for coming," she said. "We're here to review the executed testament documents of Mrs. Margaret Holloway, including all current designations, protections, and clarifying statements. These were updated, notarized, and recorded as of March 14th. Nicole leaned forward. "Before we begin, I just want to say I have concerns." Monica raised a hand. "This is not a negotiation. This is a reading. You may ask questions afterward, but I will not entertain commentary during the review." Nicole's jaw clenched, but she didn't argue. Monica began to read. She went through the house first, declared that the deed, title, and associated rights had been transferred to the Margaret Holloway Foundation, a local fund benefiting elder women experiencing housing insecurity. Nicole blinked. "What foundation?" Monica ignored her. Next, she reviewed the investment accounts, pensions, and life insurance policies, all reassigned into the Holloway Grandchildren Trust, to be released to Brielle and Noah upon reaching age 25, with a legal guardian barred from access or redirection of funds. Nicole stiffened. "Barred?" "Yes," Monica said plainly. Nicole looked at me. "You think I'd steal from my own children?" I met her eyes. "I think you already have." Darren looked like he wanted to disappear into the wall, Monica continued. She read the addendum aloud, the explanation I had written, with her help. It outlined in plain terms my reasons for disinheritance: documented financial manipulation, misrepresentation of family emergencies, blocking contact with malicious intent, emotional abuse through calculated exclusion. Nicole tried to interrupt, again, but Monica didn't stop reading. When she finished, she looked up. "Questions?" Nicole stood. "You're doing this to punish me." "No," I said. "I'm doing this to protect what I spent a lifetime building." "You're going to let 2 kids decide what to do with your legacy?" "No," I said, again. "I've already decided." She shook her head. "You've lost your mind." Monica reached into her folder and slid a sheet across the table. "That's a capacity assessment, signed by 2 medical professionals. If you challenge this, you'll lose, and you'll pay court fees doing it." Nicole's face turned red. Darren finally spoke. "Let's go." She didn't move. I stood up. "You never once apologized. Not for the lie, not for the money, not for cutting me out on my birthday, not for using your kids as an excuse." Nicole glared at me. "You never gave me a chance." I picked up my purse. "You had every chance. You just never thought you'd run out of them." I walked out without waiting for her to follow. That night I had tea on the porch. I didn't cry. I didn't feel victorious, but I felt firm, not angry, just finished. The next morning, I taped a copy of Brielle's drawing back to the fridge. Then I closed my notebook for good. I continued. Legally. Permanently. There's nothing left to discuss. He looked at the folder still in my hand. That's Brielle's drawing, from school. She wanted you to have it. I paused, opened it carefully. Inside was a crayon, drawing of a kitchen. Yellow curtains, a brown table with 4 chairs, and a little girl with 2 braids, holding hands with an older woman. The caption in her handwriting said, "At Grandma's house. I feel calm," my jaw clenched. "You don't get to use her too." "I'm not." Darren said, "She drew it. She talks about you all the time." "Then maybe you should stop making it harder for her to be around me." He didn't respond, just turned and walked off the porch. That night, I taped the drawing. On my fridge. I didn't do it to forgive Nicole. I did it to remember that I wasn't wrong. The next day, I made a call to the trust administrator. I asked if we could arrange prepaid legal services for the grandkids once they turned 18. Just in case. I didn't want Nicole manipulating them out of their inheritance later. "It's doable," they said, "and smart." I hung up the phone and finally wrote in my notebook again. March 28th, Darren came by. Folder with Brielle's drawing, not her handwriting, not her words. But the picture felt real. I'll hold on to that. The rest, I've let go. 2 weeks passed without a word from Nicole or Darren. I didn't expect much. After that last visit from Darren, and after seeing the drawing Brielle had made, I figured they'd back off. They weren't used to hearing no from me, and they definitely weren't used to consequences. I kept to my routine. Grocery shopping on Tuesdays, church on Sundays. I even started attending a Thursday knitting group at the library. It wasn't about the knitting. It was about being around women my age who had their own stories about children, who only remembered them when they needed something. But then, early on a Monday morning, my phone rang. The number wasn't saved in my contacts. I let it go to voicemail. 2 minutes later, it rang again. Same number. I picked up. "Mrs. Holloway?" the voice said. "This is Jennifer Dunn from the estate office at Morgan and Pierce. I'm calling about your updated testament documents." I sat up straighter. "Yes?" "We received an email from Nicole Sanders last Friday requesting access to the estate summary. She claimed to be your legal heir and said she had concerns about possible tampering." "She said what?" "She used the phrase, possible manipulation due to age." I took a breath. "She's accusing me of not being in my right mind." The woman hesitated. "I can't speak to her motives, but the request was formal. However, because the estate is protected under a registered living trust with legal addendums and verified capacity documentation, we denied her request." "Good. We just wanted to inform you of the attempted access, in case she contacts you directly." "She won't," I said. "She knows what she's doing, and she's doing it quietly. That's how she operates. Push behind the curtain, smile in public." Ms. Dunn replied gently, "If you need to add further protections, we're happy to set up a meeting with your attorney." "I'll talk to Monica," I said. "Thank you for the call." I hung up and sat still for a few minutes. Not angry, just tired. I had hoped Nicole would just let it go. But I knew her better than that. She had been raised with love, but somewhere along the way, she learned how to twist it. She never yelled, never cursed. She used guilt like a tool, and silence like a shield. Now that she couldn't get to me directly, she was trying to move through the back door. That same day, I called Monica and explained what happened. "She tried to go around you," I said. "I expected that," Monica replied. "But we'll shut that down fast." She offered to schedule a legal reading of the will and trust summary, invite Nicole formally, and let her hear everything face to face. I paused. I hadn't thought about doing that yet. I had assumed she would just find out after I passed. But maybe it was better this way. Let her hear the truth now. Let her sit in it. "Let's do it," I said. We set it for Friday at 3 p.m. at Monica's office. Monica sent her a formal letter via email and mail. Nicole replied within hours saying she would be there. That week moved slowly. I didn't tell anyone else what was happening. I just waited. Friday came. I arrived, 15 minutes early. Nicole barely looked at me on the way out. I stood at the door and watched them walk to the car. Brielle waved at me through the window. I waved back. That night, I sat down and added one more page to my notebook. Sunday, dinner. Nicole still believes legacy is owed, not earned. I don't feel guilty. I feel free. The following Thursday, I was folding laundry in the den when my phone rang. It was the elementary school. A woman named Ms. Hampton said she was the guidance counselor at Brielle and Noah's school. My stomach dropped for a second, assuming something was wrong, but she spoke calmly. "Nothing bad happened, Mrs. Holloway. I just wanted to reach out to you directly. I've been seeing a lot of changes in Brielle's mood lately. She's mentioned you a few times." "What kind of changes?" I asked. "She's quieter than usual, easily distracted. A few times she's mentioned feeling like home is stressful. When I asked if she wanted to talk more, she just said she misses you. Said she likes how calm it is at your house." I closed my eyes. "And Noah." "He's young, but yes, same. He started drawing little pictures of your kitchen. We asked what it was, and he said, 'Grandma's table where everything is good.'" My throat tightened. "Did you speak with Nicole about this?" "I've tried. She's been hard to reach," Miss Hampton said. "I know it's not really our place, but I wanted to tell you directly because it sounds like you're a very important figure for them. I appreciate you calling me," I said. "Please let them know my door's always open." After I hung up, I sat at the table with my notebook open, but didn't write anything for a long time. I just thought about Brielle's face at dinner. The way she smiled when I gave her an extra slice of cake. How Noah kept asking if I still had that wooden train set. They weren't the problem. Nicole was. And the part that kept scratching at the back of my mind was this. If something happened to me today, Nicole would still try to twist it around. She would try to say I pushed her away, that I was bitter, that I cut her out because I couldn't handle growing old. I knew her well enough to know that she would try to control the story after I was gone. So I called Monica again. "I want to make a statement," I told her. "Something legal. Not just a will. Something that spells out the why." Monica didn't ask for an explanation. She just said, "Come in tomorrow. Bring whatever you've written." The next morning, I copied a few of the more detailed pages from my notebook and brought them to her office. She read silently for 15 minutes. Then she set the pages down and looked at me. "I can attach this as an addendum to the trust," she said. "It won't change any of the legal terms, but it'll make it clear to anyone who tries to challenge it why you made your decisions." "Good," I said. "That's what I want." She made a few edits, had me reword one part that sounded too emotional. I didn't fight it. I wanted it clear, not dramatic. Before I left, she said, You're sure there's nothing she can say that would make you change your mind? I thought about that. She had every opportunity to speak with me like an adult. She had years to treat me like a mother. She only showed up when she thought she was losing something. That's not love. That's access. Monica nodded. I'll file the paperwork today. That weekend, I didn't hear from Nicole. But on Sunday evening, I got a knock at the door. It was Darren. He stood there in jeans and a polo shirt, holding a folder. Nicole didn't want to come. He said, I'm not surprised. He stepped onto the porch without waiting for me to invite him. I stayed standing, arms crossed. He handed me the folder. She asked me to give this to you. Said it was everything you asked for. I didn't open it. I didn't ask for anything. He exhaled. Look, I'm not here to argue. I just think this is going too far. You're cutting her out entirely? Yes, I said. Come on, she's your daughter. She's made mistakes, sure, but haven't we all? I looked at him. You used your children to get money from me. You lied about Noah being in the hospital. Then you two blocked me for weeks. You weren't embarrassed then. But now that there's money involved, suddenly you want to talk? His face went tight. We didn't mean it like that. I raised an eyebrow. No. Then explain what you did mean. He didn't answer. I've already handled my affairs. The last time you were here, you asked about the will. Then you dropped a slice of cheesecake on my porch, like that made everything even. She exhaled sharply. I'm trying. You don't have to accept it, but I'm trying. I stayed quiet a moment, then finally said, I'll think about it. I hung up without saying goodbye. She didn't call back. I spent the next 2 days thinking, not about whether I should accept her apology, because it wasn't one, but about whether seeing the kids again was worth sitting through whatever act Nicole planned to perform. By Wednesday, I made up my mind. I called her back. You can come Sunday, just you and the kids. Not Darren. She didn't argue. Okay, she said. We'll be there around 3. That Sunday, I cleaned the house, like I hadn't done in months. Not for her, but for the kids. I didn't know what they'd been told. I didn't know if they even remembered the last time they'd been inside my house. I just wanted them to feel welcome. At exactly 3:10, her car pulled into the driveway. Nicole stepped out in a cream blouse and slacks, carrying 2 grocery bags. The kids followed behind her, Noah and Brielle. Noah was 8 now, taller, looked more like Darren every day. Brielle was 10 and had her hair in 2 long braids. I noticed she had on the same pink sweater I bought her last Christmas, the one Nicole never acknowledged. Hi, Grandma! Brielle called out before Nicole could say anything. I smiled. Hey, baby. They came inside. Nicole set the bags on the counter and began unpacking like she'd done it 100 times. Store-bought lasagna, bagged salad, frozen garlic bread. Not one thing homemade. I didn't know what you felt like cooking, she said. So I figured this would be easiest. Fine, I said. I focused on the kids. Sat with them at the table, asked about school, their favorite subjects, what they were reading. Brielle said they were doing a project on Harriet Tubman. Noah said he hated math and liked gym. He asked if I still had the wooden train set I used to keep in the den. I told him it was in the closet. His eyes lit up. While they played, Nicole set the table. She kept glancing over at me like she was waiting for a signal. Eventually, I sat back down and she followed. She folded her hands. I want to talk. I figured, I said. I know I messed up, she started. And I know I said things the wrong way. But I really didn't think you'd go that far with the will. I looked at her. You think this is about punishment? She blinked. Isn't it? No, I said. It's about responsibility. You made it clear what I meant to you. I believed you. I adjusted my plans accordingly. She leaned forward. But I'm still your daughter. And I'm still your mother, I said. But that hasn't stopped you from disrespecting me. You lied to my face. You used your kids to get money. Then you blocked me like I was just some account you didn't want to see anymore. She looked down. I didn't handle it right. I was overwhelmed. Nicole, I said, this wasn't one mistake. It's been building for years. I've watched you lie, disappear, only show up when you wanted something. And now that you know I've taken you out of the will, suddenly you're trying. I came today. For the kids, she said. Not the will. I tilted my head. Did they even know we weren't speaking? She didn't answer. I sighed. You don't get to rewrite this. Nicole's voice rose. So what? You're just cutting me off. Forever? I'm not cutting you off, I said. I'm cutting off access. There's a difference. She stared at me for a long time. Then, quietly, you really changed it. Yes. All of it. Yes. You get nothing. The house, the savings, the insurance, the pension. It's all been reassigned. The kids have a trust. They'll get it when they're old enough. But you? No. Her face hardened. After everything I've done for you. I laughed once, short and sharp. What exactly have you done for me, Nicole? She opened her mouth, then closed it. Dinner was awkward after that. The kids didn't notice, thankfully. We all sat down and ate. I made sure they had extra helpings. I saved dessert from the bakery, near the church, chocolate cake with cream frosting. They loved it. After we finished, Noah hugged me tight. Grandma, can we come back next week? I looked at Nicole. She shrugged, but said nothing. You can, I said to him. Anytime. They left around 6. Nicole. I didn't raise him. She looked down. I didn't want to fight. You didn't want to be confronted, I corrected her. That's different. She was quiet for a second. Then she held the bag out again. I brought you this. It's your favorite, from Clementine's. I didn't take the bag. You told me you needed money for the kids, I said. I sent it. You went to Dubai. You blocked me. You ignored my birthday. You didn't just make a mistake, Nicole. You made a choice. She took a deep breath, her jaw flexing. You always take everything so seriously. This is serious. I was tired. Darren and I needed time to ourselves. I didn't mean to hurt you. You used my name and my money, I said calmly. You lied, and you didn't even have the decency to apologize. You showed up today with a cake like this is all just about some misunderstanding. Nicole's tone sharpened. I said I didn't mean to hurt you. What else do you want from me? I looked her dead in the eyes. Nothing. That stopped her. I don't want anything, I said. Not the cake, not the excuses, not the performance. She didn't say anything at first. Then her voice dropped lower. Are you changing the will, linked? Excuse me. She licked her lips. I overheard Darlene telling someone at church that you were meeting with your lawyer. I was wondering if that's what this is really about. I stepped out slightly, letting the door close partway behind me. You didn't come here to apologize. You came here because you think something's being taken away from you. She didn't deny it. I nodded slowly. Now I know for sure I made the right decision. She tried to interrupt. "Mom, no," I said firmly. "I gave you everything I had for decades. I helped raise your children. I gave you money when you asked. I believed your stories. And what I got in return was lies and silence. You only come when you're scared. I won't leave you anything." She was still holding the bag, but her hand was starting to shake. "Won't leave you guessing," I continued. "You're not in the will anymore. Not one penny. Not the house. Not the accounts. Nothing." She looked like she'd been slapped. "Mom, you can't be serious. You're cutting your own daughter out of everything?" I tilted my head. "You did that first." She blinked fast, like she was holding back tears or rage. "Maybe both." "What about the kids?" she asked. "You're going to punish them too?" "No, I'm not. There's a trust for them. They'll get it when they're older. You won't see a dime." She stepped back like the wind had been knocked out of her. "I tried to give you everything," I said, "and you turned me into a bank you could block when it was convenient." I opened the door fully again. "You can go now." Nicole stood frozen for a moment. Then she dropped the bag on the porch step. "I hope you're proud of yourself," she snapped. "I am," I said, and I meant it. She walked back to her car without looking at me again. I didn't watch her drive off. I just picked up the bag, opened it, saw a melted piece of cheesecake and tossed it straight into the trash. That evening I called Monica. "She knows now," I told her. Monica was quiet for a beat. "Do I need to do anything on my end?" "No," I said. "She can't change it. That's the part she didn't see coming." We hung up. I sat on the porch in the cool air and let myself feel something I hadn't felt in years. Power. Not the kind that controls people, the kind that refuses to be controlled. Nicole didn't call again for almost 2 weeks. After she left my porch, that morning I figured she'd stay away. That's what she usually did when she didn't get her way. Go silent, wait it out, come back later with a different tone. I knew her rhythm by now, but on the second Sunday after that visit, around 4 in the afternoon, my phone rang. Her name flashed on the screen. I stared at it for a few seconds. Then I picked up. "Hello?" Her voice was more careful this time. "Hey, Mom. I was wondering if we could come by next weekend. The kids miss you." I didn't answer right away. She added quickly, "Just dinner. You don't have to do anything. I'll bring the food." "What's the occasion?" I asked. She hesitated. "No occasion. Just thought maybe we could reset. Start fresh." I sat up straighter in my chair. "You mean, pretend nothing happened?" "No," she said. "I mean, maybe try to put some of it behind us." I kept my voice even. Nicole, iced tea, pound cake." The conversation was light. Talk about grandchildren, garden centers, what music the choir was choosing for next month. Then Darlene leaned over and whispered, "I saw Nicole's pictures. You weren't with them?" I paused. "No, I wasn't." She gave a soft sigh. "I'm sorry, honey. I don't know what's wrong with this generation. They think if you still walk and cook for yourself, then you don't have feelings." I didn't answer, because it wasn't about generations. It was about her. Nicole had stopped seeing me as her mother. I had become background noise. Something. She stepped around when she wanted to enjoy her life. When I got home that afternoon, I sat at my desk and took out the notebook again. Wrote a new entry. March 9th. Birthday. No call. No message. Saw the photos. She blocked me on Facebook. Not Darren. Only her. Deliberate. Confirmed decision about the trust. No changes. She chose her side. let her stay there. Later that week, Monica called to say the updated documents were ready for final signature. I asked her to bring them over. I didn't want to go back into town. She came on Friday, brought a folder with color-coded tabs and 2 notarized copies. "You're still sure?" she asked me again. I didn't even blink. Yes. I signed each page carefully, took my time with the last one, the declaration page that confirmed I was of sound mind and understood everything. I initialed every line, no hesitation. Monica packed up the papers, tucked them in her briefcase, and stood. "You want me to send her a notice later?" "No," I said. "She doesn't need to know anything." "Not until the time comes," she nodded. "I'll file these next week." After she left, I sat with a cup of tea and looked around my living room. Everything I owned had a story. That lamp on the side table. Bought it with my first tax refund after Nicole turned 6. The rug. Found it at a yard sale when we moved into this house, and Nicole cried because she missed the old one. That photo frame near the TV. Nicole and me at her graduation. I had made her dress by hand because we couldn't afford to buy one. I got up and turned the photo face down. That Sunday, the pastor spoke about boundaries, about how even Jesus walked away from people who didn't value what he came to offer. And sitting in that pew, I felt something shift. Not anger, just certainty. I stopped reaching. No more texts. No more checking social media. No more waiting for birthdays or holidays. Nicole had blocked me, not just online, but in every way that mattered. And now I had blocked her too. Just not on the phone. I blocked her where it would count most. My legacy. It had been almost 5 weeks since Nicole blocked me. I didn't reach out. I didn't check for updates. I kept myself busy. I started waking up early again, going on short walks, cleaning things that didn't need to be cleaned. I even signed up to help once a week at the senior center folding donation clothes. It helped, at least during the daytime. Nights were still hard. That was when the house felt bigger, the silence heavier. I didn't have anyone left under my roof, and that silence started to feel permanent. One Thursday morning around 10:15, I was in the kitchen peeling potatoes for a small stew. I heard a knock. Not the mailman. He always just leaves the letters in the box. It was a knock-knock, firm and too casual. I dried my hands, walked slowly to the door, and looked through the peephole. It was Nicole. She was alone, wearing big sunglasses, holding a plastic bag in one hand. She wasn't smiling. I opened the door but didn't step aside. "Hi." She said I didn't answer. I was in the area. Thought I'd dropped something off. She lifted the bag slightly. I glanced at it. It looked like some kind of cake or box from a bakery. I raised one eyebrow. "You in the area, or you drove here on purpose?" She shifted her weight. I wanted to check on you. Now you want to check?" I said, keeping my voice flat. She swallowed. "Mom, can we talk inside?" "No," I said. "We can talk right here." Her face tightened. She wasn't used to hearing no from me. "Okay," she said, clearing her throat. "I guess I just wanted to say, I know we haven't really talked. I've been busy, but I didn't mean for things to go this long." I folded my arms. "You blocked me." She pulled off her sunglasses. "I didn't want to argue," Darren said. "Don't bring Darren into this." I cut her off. "I raised you, and handed Monica the list I had written in my notebook. These are the names I want gone," I said. "And these are the people I want it to go to instead." Monica looked over it carefully. "You sure about this?" "Monica." I was sure. the moment she said it was for the kids. The new plan was simple. The house would go to a local shelter for older women abandoned by their families. I'd visited them once for a church donation drive. I remembered one of the women hugging me like I was her sister. I remembered thinking, this could have been me. As for the rest, my pension, the insurance policy, the savings, I set up a trust for my grandchildren. They'd get it when they turned 25, but not a second earlier. And under no circumstances would their mother have access. That part I repeated to Monica twice. Make sure it's bulletproof, she nodded. I'll have the papers finalized within the week. I walked out of her office feeling like I could finally breathe again. Not because I'd punished anyone, but because I had reclaimed something. My value, my worth, my dignity. And Nicole, she still didn't know. I went home and made a cup of tea, sat by the window, watched the wind blow through the neighbors' oak trees, and for the first time in a long time, I felt still, not waiting, not wishing, just still. She thought I would forget. She thought I would forgive by habit. She thought I would die and leave her everything because that's what mothers do. She just didn't expect what would happen to my testament will. I didn't expect Nicole to call me after Dubai. But I did think maybe, just maybe, she'd come, around when my birthday got closer. She always called, even if it was last minute or rushed. It wasn't about gifts, just a call, a minute of her voice. That had always been enough. The morning of my birthday, I got up early. I don't sleep much anymore. I made myself toast and scrambled eggs, poured a small glass of orange juice, and sat at the table waiting for the phone to buzz. Nothing. I watched the clock turn from 9 to 10:15, then 11:40. Still nothing. I refreshed my inbox. Empty. Checked. Voicemail. Just one message. Automated pharmacy reminder. Around noon, I went to the mailbox. Inside there was a flyer for window cleaning, a bill from the electric company, and a card from the church. Not from Nicole. Not from Darren. Not even the kids. That was the moment it settled in. She wasn't coming. Not by call. Not by card. Not at all. I sat down on the living room couch and opened the church card. It was signed by Sister Colleen in blue ink, with a small Bible verse and a line that said, "We see you. We love you." I placed it on the coffee table and stared at the wall for a long time. The house was quiet, but not the good kind. It was the kind of quiet that feels like someone just took something out of the room and you're left standing in the space it used to fill. That afternoon, I decided to see if she was online, not because I wanted to message her, just to see. I opened Facebook, typed her name. Nothing came up. I tried again. Still nothing. So I went to Darren's profile. He hadn't blocked me. Not yet. And there she was, tagging herself in a restaurant from the night before. Candlelit dinner, velvet booth, cocktail in hand, smiling like someone who had never once had to ask for anything. The caption read, "Best week of my life. I needed this." I looked at the photo for a long time. Not because I was surprised, but because the table had 4 glasses on it, 4 drinks. She was with people, not just Darren. And one of those drinks had a little paper umbrella in it, the kind her oldest son used to beg me to bring back from the Chinese buffet. They went out for my birthday, without me. That night, I didn't write in my notebook. I didn't call Monica. I just cleaned the kitchen top to bottom, scrubbed the stove until it shined, threw away 2 expired spice jars. I needed something to feel under control. The next morning, I got a call from my neighbor, Darlene. She asked if I had plans for the weekend. I said no. She said she and a few ladies from the church were having lunch after Sunday service. Asked if I'd like to come. I hesitated. I don't like going out when I feel raw, when I feel like my feelings are sitting too close to the surface. But I said yes. Sunday came. I wore a blue blouse with gold buttons, one of the few things I still liked wearing after everything. The lunch was simple, soup and sandwiches.